It's Big Board Sports with Roger Wyland on 104.5 The Team.
A Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
It's a Friday morning, about 11:15. We're cruising through here, and we talk high school basketball, high school sports. We carve out a niche for that particular high school, and nobody better to talk about high schools than Big Game James Allen, because that's what he does. He covers the high school sports scene around here like nobody else, and joins us here for a few minutes on Big Board Sports. Good morning, Big Game. How are you today?
Good, Roger. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually went out and watched a game last night myself, watched Colony and Albany High. Big crowd over for a Thursday night. They had a nice crowd at Colony, and I think the reason is a lot of fans in Colony are thinking this is going to be a good year for the Raiders, and I came away impressed. Let's start with Colony. I know you saw them with a win over Troy on Tuesday night. You think Colony, from what you've seen so far, will be one of the better teams in the Double A's?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it, Roger. You had all five starters back from last year. Another year of experience. They played over the summer together. They had the ability to do some things last year, but they were young, and they had some games where they weren't able to finish out which was some pretty strong performances. And this time, especially Tuesday against Troy, it withstood the rally that Troy kept putting forth throughout the game, and they answered it. And then obviously last night, got behind early, and then came back in the second quarter to take the lead, and then withstood a couple of rallies from Albany, and that's the sign of a team that learned some lessons from a year ago.
Yeah, I give Albany credit. They actually played well. They played hard, and it looked like maybe Colony was going to blow them out in the second half. And Albany made a game of it and hung in there and took it really right down to the wire. And when you watched Colony last night, if you were at that game, hard to not be impressed with Isaiah Mall. Isaiah Mall, I mean, not only inside Big Game, post up when you need a bucket, but I saw him at the top of the key, give a little pump fake, go right around his defender and drive strong to the rim. So not only the inside game, but he was pretty strong at getting to the rim last night too.
Yeah, and he's a versatility. I mean, a few years ago he was playing guard, so like point guard. So he can definitely, he has all the skills with the ball, and has a body that can definitely go inside and bang around. And he's a mismatch problem, because if you put a slower, bigger guy up against him, he's just going to take him to the basket every time. And then if you put a quick guy against him, he can muscle him too. And and he definitely has the ability to shoot from the outside. It's not his strongest suit, but he definitely can do it. And there are a lot of things go through him, and did a really good job against Troy when they try to double down on him. Passing out of the double teams and finding some open teammates. And Will Abar against Troy was really lethal in that regard. He got a lot of open looks because of the attention that Isaiah drew.
James, I keep hearing a lot about Shaker, that they have terrific talent, a sophomore that's got great size that is projected to be a Division I kid. Have you seen Shaker, and could you inform our audience about their potential?
Well, they had some younger players last year, and now they got Sloan Seymour coming from CBA to join them. So they have size. So they definitely have one of the bigger front lines in the area. They've got some guys that are multi-sport guys in the backcourt. So I'm interested. I won't see them until next week, but I'm interested to see how the addition of Sloan Seymour is going to go with what they had from last year. And they have size, Zach. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, what Sloan Seymour, who, his offensive capabilities are pretty well known, and he's still only a junior. You add him into the mix, they're going to be a team that I think is going to be, one of the top teams in the Suburban Councils. It'll be interesting to see just how far that team can go.
Time with Big Game James Allen from the Times-Union. High school basketball is the topic here every Friday morning in this time slot. Little appointment radio with Big Game on Big Board Sports right around 11:15. We crank it up. How about tonight, Big Game? I think there's a full slate of games here tonight on both high school girls and boys basketball. Is there a headline game tonight?
Well, I think there's a few, Roger. One of the ones that's probably be pretty interesting, just based on what they did their first games, is Schenectady's playing Gilliland. Gilliland pulls out a 2-point game against CBA with Michael Wine scoring at the buzzer, and Schenectady won a 2-point game in their opener. So I'm kind of interested to see, where those teams kind of stack up. I mean, I think they're probably considered in the upper echelon in the Suburban Council, but just how far each one of those teams can go. I think it's a pretty good matchup on paper. That should be an interesting contest. Another one that's should be fun to kind of see how it unfolds is Hudson at Ichabod Crane. Ichabod Crane used to be in the platoon. They're in the Colonial Council now. It used to be an old rivalry in the platoon conference. And Ichabod's off to a 4-0 start. They got a pretty good team, has some size for that classification. And then Hudson's won it last year in the B's. And they got off to a pretty strong start with the 2 lopsided wins. They won by 50 and 47 for their 2 wins. So, this will be a little bit more of a stern test against a pretty solid starting 5 for Ichabod Crane. That should be a good one. On the girls' side, say Shen at Averill Park. Averill Park lost to Shaker the other day, but Shen's going to be interesting to see how they do this year. They don't really have any seniors. They have no senior experience. They would have had one, but Sidney Brown decided to play prep school down at Blair Academy, so they're a younger team. They have some experience, but they also have a 6'4" sophomore center that's playing, so we'll be interested to see how they do against a pretty decent front line from Averill Park that's young but has some experience. And then Columbia Troy, another good one. Troy's backcourt the other day had 60 points between them, with Sabrina Wolf with 35 and Shelley Firestone with 25, and Columbia's got off to a real strong start, led by Selena Lott and Heaps, and they've got some good young talent there as well. So those are 4, I think, pretty good games, 2 on each side that everybody should keep an eye on tonight.
Plenty of choices tonight. High school basketball. We'll read about it in the Times-Union tomorrow. You can watch for scores and highlights tonight on News Channel 13 live at 11 as well. Big Game, always a pleasure on the Friday show. Have a great weekend.
All right, guys. You
take care. That's Big Game James Allen from the Times-Union.